wanted to give you guys a quick little video before you guys see the video. In the video I explained that I ordered this from Harbor Freight. I went out and bought this to get the ball joints out. This is not going to work unless you have a way. Comment below, let me know how you did it with this kit. I went on the eBay and ordered the Honda lower ball joint adapter set from Powerbuilt, $15 on eBay. I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. Other than that, enjoy the rest of the video. I probably repeat a lot of stuff because I keep going different days on working on this, trying to get this done, getting more tools. But enjoy the video, like it, subscribe it, and I hope this helps you guys change out your parts when you get to this point. Okay guys, I went ahead and ordered some parts for the Integra. That's what this video will be. Changing your inner, outer tie rods and your ball joint. There will be some tools needed. The ball joint separator. I went to Harbor Freight, got this thinking this is all I needed for the ball joint. I was wrong. So yesterday was a failed attempt to change out these parts. I had to go back, purchase this guy, the service, the ball joint service kit, and I also bought this from Harbor Freight. Inner tie rod removal set. It's about $120 in tools, and the parts from eBay only costed me $60. Got ball joints with it, boots, left and right, outer tie rod, and the inner tie rod. So, in this video I'm going to go step by step on how to replace those parts. I do recommend those tools. I did spend $300 at Firestone just to change the outer tie rods on my old stock Civic EK. I was in a pinch. I just had Firestone do it for me, and it was $300 without the alignment. So I'm saving $120 doing it myself, and now I have the tools to do it in the future. So keep that in mind. And hopefully this video helps you guys change out your inner, outer tie rods and your ball joint. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and I'll show you guys how to get this done. Okay guys, I'm under the car right now. Let me show you guys how bad this boot is. It's all nasty, corroded, looks like trash. From what I've been told, this should not be able to happen. Okay, the new one, I can hardly even hold it and move it at all. But there goes the new parts. Here goes all the old. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear and do all this. I'll get this side done, let you guys know what I did, and then show you more specifically on the passenger side. But here it is. Let's see if I can get it. That little guy's got to get replaced. So let me go ahead and get this done, and then I'll come back, explain it, and then show you guys step by step on the other side. Okay guys, I'm about to do the passenger side. I just did the driver's side, and this is the first time I'm doing it, and that took forever, and this really sucks to do for the first time without anyone sitting there telling you exactly step by step what to do. I've seen a few videos, it did help, but doing it by yourself for the first time sucked. And for those that don't know, that's a bad outer tie rod, so that's going to be replaced. The inner tie rod I'm going to start with the ball joint. So you use the joint separator, the ball joint separator right here after you pull the cotter pen. Take off this bolt, take off this nut. I'll be taking off the caliper, and I don't want to destroy this boot, so I just unbolt everything and I spin it around to where I have access to the ball joint. I'm sure there's an easier way. Like I said, tell me a way to not cut that. And all these 10mm bolts. Another one. And there's some more down here. There it is. One right there. One right there. And that's where I'm going to start. And before I remove this, I'm going to loosen it up. 19mm, I believe. Alright, so far I removed the axle nut, the caliper, two 17mm bolts that were in the back, two 10mm bolts that were there holding the brake line, and I zip tied it to this plastic for now. It's holding, so some people zip tie it up here. That's what I've done so far. I'm trying to think what I'm going to do next. I'm going to loosen up this tie rod here. I'm going to start with loosening that up, which I believe is, that's awesome, it's already loose. There goes that. Then I will probably take this guy off next. Yeah, I'm going to do this first and then jump down to the ball joint. Okay, something to remind everybody on getting this off. You could have stuck a screwdriver into the rotor and then loosened it. I have this little electric impact, works fine. Also over here, I tighten up that nut, and I would suggest counting these threads. Count them, just so that when you put it back on, you know how many threads should be there. Also, the other thing is, when you loosen this up, count how many rotations it takes to get this off. Also, that'll help put it back on, okay, for the outer tie rod. But right now I'm going to go back and count this and then loosen this back up and then finish taking this guy off, the outer tie rod. Alright. Okay, here goes the ball joint separator. It was a 17mm bolt. This is how this guy hooks up. Slides under, right at the bottom. And this is how this goes. It's a 19mm socket. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Before you know it, it's going to pop out. Sometime today. Well, that shit's kind of fucked up my shit. Okay, I'm back. So I didn't expect it to spring out that quickly, but yeah, so it popped out. That's what it does. It really does destroy the boot. That's why I don't take that off when I spin it around to get to the ball joint. But it shouldn't be like this. I'll show you guys what the new one looks like when I get it on. But yeah, shouldn't be like that. So there goes that. That's how that works. I'll use it again shortly, that ball joint separator, and show you guys again, and hopefully be able to hold the camera, and we'll go from there. Okay, it was another 17 millimeter cotter pin. Now we're going to try using this tool again. This is to separate it from lower control line. I don't want to drop the camera again. There it is. All right. Destroyed the boot, and about to pull this out and keep the axle in. I'm not going to pull the axle out, but now I can pivot the knuckle out. Okay guys, let me show you guys how I ended up using this. I don't know if I did it the right way. Please let me know if I did it the incorrect way so I know for next time. But that power built tools that I had, it's right here. This is one that fit. And pretend that the ball joint's there. It's already out. There goes the ball joint. I already got it out. But pretend the ball joint's there. The bottom of this went into there, and then I hit it with the impact. Now keep in mind, I am doing this with this still on because, like I said, I did not want to bust it up here and have grease everywhere. I didn't want to deal with that. So that's how I did it, and I pushed it through. This guy did get stuck. I had to hammer it out. Like I said, I don't know if that's normal or not, but let me know what easier way I could have done this besides removing it from there. I already know I could have removed it from there, but I chose not to. Okay. But from here I will continue to go on. Okay guys, so now I got the ball joint in. I use this from the Mad Docs kit. I just put it right there, and I put the clamp on like this. So it was, the top was going down. So that's how I did it. Like I said, you guys, I've done this many times. Let me know what was the correct way, because I'm sure it's not the correct way, but you know what, it worked and it got the ball joint in, so I'm happy with that. Now off to go fix this. So I'm going to start by removing the outer tie rod. It's already loose. I'm going to count the threads that are on the inside and thread how many rotations I do to remove this. So that when I go to put it back together, I count those rotations back on. If it's 15, I'll do a full 15 all the way back on, and then I'll see if it matches with what threads are left over, and hope that it's good enough to get it to the alignment shop. But that's what I'm going to do next. I believe I said this was a 17, I want to say, and I'm going to go ahead and remove it and I'll double check it. Okay, so I twisted off the outer tie rod. It was 14 threads on the inside, and on the outside was 10. Doesn't mean this is what every car is. It's just what mine happens to be. So when I go twist these guys right now, I'll probably pull out the inner tie rod first. And what I'm going to do is tear apart this boot so that I can get to that little clip that's back there and get under the clip. It's a real pain. The other side took me forever, but I'm going to use a flathead to twist up that freaking clamp that's back there. It's a pain, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this boot and start working at that clamp. That's probably what took me the longest on the other side. Well, it all took forever, but that was a pain just to get off one little clamp. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on that. Okay guys, I got the boot out. there it is. I was actually able to get it out in pretty good condition still. I'm still gonna use a new one, but you gotta like wedge with your flathead right underneath the clamp and just keep twisting it and figuring out. Tank, inside. My Mastiff always wants to be a center of attention, but that's how I got this. I just kept wedging it around, and then I pulled on the boot and it finally came. I don't reuse these clamps. The kit that came with zip ties, but they were clear. I'm just going to use two 8-inch zip ties and cut the extra zip tie that hangs out, and it'll work just fine. But there it is. Time to get the inner tie rod tool on there to take this sucker off. Okay guys, to remove the inner tie rod, use the inner tie rod tool from Harbor Freight. I freaking think this tool is awesome. The attachment is a 1 1/4. So I'm just going to slide this guy on. Slides into this groove, then you lock it in. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lock in the tool, and then I'll come back. There it is. Slides over the inner tie rod. 1/2-inch ratchet. And there it is, guys. The old crusty one. Now I will install the new one here shortly. Okay guys, so keep in mind this is the new one. This came with it, which I would assume goes on the end. I know most videos don't even mention that, but so just slide it over the end. Oop, kind of hard to do with one hand. Then you're ready to start tightening this sucker up. Okay, I went ahead and got the inner tie rod tool on it. Twist it right, tighten it up. I go as tight as I possibly can. If anyone knows the torque specs, please feel free to share it, because I am not 100% sure. And now I'm going to go ahead and get on the outer tie rod, which is this guy. Remember, it was 14 threads for myself on the back side, 10 on the front side. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that all counted and start twisting this on and get it nice and tight. Almost there, almost complete. Actually, I need to get the boot on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the boot on and use the 2 zip ties that I use. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, there goes the new boot. Got zip ties on both ends. To get that back side, it's better to do it from the top. Just work it from the top and get the boot on over the top. I didn't try it this way, but I guess there is plenty of room. But for me, it was easier to the top. Zip tied it right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and get on the outer tie rod. Okay, it's back on. The threads are different than even when I removed it, so the alignment definitely has to be changed. I twisted it on 12 times and there's still 16 threads. So, and both sides are the same lengths. I double checked it, make sure I didn't put the wrong inner tie rod on whichever side. So they should be the same length. But now I'm going to go ahead and put everything back together. Start with the axle, back in there, ball joint, and then connect this guy back over here. Then of course the caliper. But I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together and then I'll show you guys. Okay guys, everything's bolted back on. I started with the ball joint, slipped it on, put the axle back through, put the rotor back on, tighten up the caliper, tighten up the axle nut, tightened it up here. The weird thing about that kit is this doesn't have a cotter pen, so I will be keeping an eye on that. I went back and tightened up the nut for the in between the inner and outer tie rod. The new one is 22 millimeter. The whatever is on here, if you want to call it stock, I don't know if it was stock or not, but it was a 19 millimeter if I remember correctly. Put on these two bolts back on, but there it is. Tomorrow I'm going to get the alignment done. It should already be done by the time you guys see the video, but that's everything, you guys. Everything's bolted back on. Like I said, I'm no expert. I've said it 100 times, so please tell me if there's an easier way to have done this or the correct way to have used the tools. I managed, I got it done. Notice this doesn't clunk back and forth. And when this was all on, it didn't just drop all weak like the other ones. It was still stiff and it stayed in its position straight. But that's everything, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Like I said before, subscribe, like the video, share it. More videos to come. Hope you guys enjoy it. And the Integra will be back on the road here shortly. Thanks, guys. Bye. Okay, guys, so I got done installing the inner and outer tie rods. Dropped the car, and on both sides of the car, the wheels stick outwards. The front of the wheel sticks out. So I'm going to pull the tie rods out. So the back of it, instead of the tire sitting like this, I pull the back of the tire out like that. So I thought I was done, but I can't drive 20-30 miles on the freeway like this. That would just destroy the tires. So I'm gonna go ahead and try fixing this as best as I can. Okay guys, so good thing I ended up taking the wheel off. The wheel was would have been rubbing against this here, which goes down to the sensor right down there. So I unbolt. It was because if you guys watched the way I took off the ball joint, I kind of twisted it, and somehow I wrapped this around the wrong way. So this here was coming around this side right here. So I just took off all the bolts. If you do make that mistake, there's one, another one right there, and two more on the sensor. I took it all off and I just wrapped it around, but I redid the outer tie rods, gave 4 more threads out, and hopefully that makes a difference where it's enough to where I could drive it tomorrow. Hopefully. We'll see. It's getting dark and it's only 4 or 5 o'clock, not even that late. But let me wrap this up.